He is a huckster. He is a flim-flam artist. He speaks with forked tongue, and you know exactly who I'm talking about. Leonardo DiCaprio. Oh, he's an actor. No, he is a liar of the worst possible kind. I turn to my long-suffering wife, Marie. Marie, you know exactly why I do not like Leonardo DiCaprio.
Actually, I don't. Like, I'm super confused because he's such a good actor. He was in all these movies that I love. Basketball Diaries, What's Eating Gilbert Grape,
Sure,
Revenant.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was good.
Titanic.
Oh, see that you have fallen. You have fallen for. Let me correct the error.
Did I fall into a trap here?
Let me correct the error of my wife's ways. And here's what I'm going to tell you: the Titanic. Okay, yes, a boat sank. I get it. I understand everything, but here's the problem I have with that at the very end scene. Everybody's like, Rose had room on the door. He could have gotten on there. That's not the point. That's not the problem. The problem with this liar Leo person is as follows.
Oh, my.
Not only does he drown, he then sinks. He's like, Rose, and he falls to the bottom of the North Atlantic Ocean. Everyone else who has drowned in this situation, look at the background shot. They are bobbing along like ice cubes on, it's like he's the only one that sinks. He's a liar and a charlatan, and I will not stand for it. I
love it because there was not a dry eye in that theater.
Okay.
The many times that I saw it when I was younger, and everyone was like, no, don't leave Rose.
No.
It was very cinematic.
No, okay. Well,
when you're like, look at the shot, I'm like, you know what? It was cinematic, and it pulled on my heartstrings, and I was like, yeah, oh my gosh.
And your heart will go on. Thanks,
will.
Celine Dion. Anyway, because of this Titanic reference, that has spurred us to go to our, not first, not second, but our third in our 4-part series on Ireland.
Yes!
Because we go to the south of Ireland this time, and we go to the Titanic Museum and a whole bunch of other really cool places. We've got to get to this right now. That's Marie over there.
That's Frank.
Voca Vacay starts right now.
Prepare yourself for the bestest, amazingest, and overall super-duperest travel program in the history of ever. Vacation like it's your job and live vicariously through yourself. It's time now for Voca Vacay.
Every single time that we start an episode of Voca Vacay, we give a shout out to our newest, bestest buddies on our global, ever-expanding empire. And these countries that are now listening to us are as follows: Jordan.
What?
Nicaragua. East Timor.
Okay, I don't even know where that is.
Down by Indonesia, Malaysia, South Asia. Down in that area.
Super cool. I'm so shocked you even know that.
No. I totally want to go.
Hey, peoples.
Hi, how you doing? East Timorites?
Timorans.
We will go there and find out on our own. And Ivory Coast in Western Africa.
That sounds exotic and awesome.
Welcome, gang. Thanks for playing along in our global sandbox, which is Voca Vacay. As always, vocavacay.com. And you can find us on the socials. And you can just listen to us right now because we're talking about Ireland. We've been there several times.
Oh, it's my peoples.
Here's the deal. We have led study abroad program. You really have. And I was kind of like the plus one. But we taught at university, and it was a media thing, media film references, because that's what we teach.
Yeah.
And there's a study abroad, and since this is the land of your peoples, you wanted to go anyway.
That's right.
So we went to Ireland.
We did, and we've gone several times.
Yeah, and we love it.
So we have a 4-part series.
And this is part 3, which is on the south of Ireland, which is, sometimes it's overlooked, which is an absolute crying shame.
It's beautiful down there.
And not only is it beautiful, but it's very accessible.
Yes.
It's very friendly.
Yes.
And the people will speak to you. And they'll speak to you in Gaelic, they'll speak to you in English, and sometimes they have... Tell you what, let's take a time out real quick and talk about Marie's Irish language lesson for the day.
I thought it might be fun because we're doing a 4-part series. I was like, you know what? We need to go over some things to say proper when you're like in the country of Ireland, of my peoples.
So what she did is she did exhaustive internet research, and it's like, here's what they say in Ireland. So if they say these things to you, don't get all worked up because this is part of their lexicon.
It is.
These are words, honestly, we should use more often.
Well, and we hear them, some of these, when we're over there, and then there are also some sayings. I grew up with the saying, oh, if you're gonna do that, or if you do that, you're gonna end up in the poorhouse.
Right.
I had no idea what that meant. And it came from the potato famine, where people were so afraid that they'd have no money to eat and they'd be in the poorhouse that they'd starve to death.
Yes.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But also there are these fun, I guess it'd be today's slang sayings.
Yeah, but just some references when you hear
the people
those.
of today.
It's like good stuff. So what do you have, my Irish lass?
These are some of my favorites.
Hit me, baby, one more time.
Okay. Oof, I'm right fluttered. You know what that means?
Fluttered? No.
I am drunk as a skunk.
Oh.
Straight up on my butt, drunk. Like,
Fluttered.
just fluttered. Oh.
Fluttered is good.
Fluttered. Well, it can be sometimes.
Well,
Probably
okay,
not
but-
all the time.
Well, it's a good word, regardless. What
All
else
right.
you got?
Now, will you look at that? You done did it arseways. Now, this one I say a lot.
Arseways.
I use arse a lot.
Yes.
We do. In our home, we use arse a
We
lot.
actually do. Like, and usually I say things are a pain in the arse.
Right, you do.
And it's a great word.
It is.
People should use it. Tell
you
your
should.
children.
All right, here's another one. Sure, look it. After work, we'll hit the pub and have a whale of a time.
That's nice.
I love a whale of a time because it does indicate like it's going to be a really good one.
Yeah.
A really good time.
You were
like not
always-
just mediocre.
You always remember a whale of a time.
Yes, you do.
Awesome. Love Irish slang.
All right. Sure, listen, don't trust him. He's a downright sleevin'.
Sleevin.
I don't know. I think it's sleevin'. It might be sleevin'. Sometimes they pronounce like the V's, THs, or like
Right.
in languages. And so that one I have not heard a lot, but when I did see that, I did do a little bit of research, like you said.
Right.
And so when I saw that, I was like, well, that's a good one. I should say that more often.
Sleevins.
A sleevin'.
Sounds like Harry Potter.
It does.
Slytherin. Yeah.
It
The
definitely
House
does.
of Sleevins. Hey, that's where they came from.
Oh, yeah. We caught the show all right. It was grand.
I love the fact they use the word grand because I'm so sick of Americans using the words amazing and awesome. Everything's awesome.
I do say amazing a lot.
I made some toast. It was awesome. No, it's not. But grand?
Grand is very nice. And it's very proper. Like, it's like,
is.
oh, that's grand.
It is.
I love it.
It's a very nice way to say that.
Yeah.
Love that word.
Oh, I'm straight out knackered after working it all day.
Knackered. Starts with a K, right?
Yes, it does.
I love the word knackered.
We should use this more often because, quite frankly, I do feel knackered like a lot.
After I'm all fluttered and knackered.
First, I got fluttered, and then I was all knackered out. Fell on my arse.
It was grand.
Had a grand time at the poob.
Hi.
Okay, now this is my personal favorite, and
Yes.
now this is for those of you listening. This is a little heads up that this is a slangy curse word,
Right.
but it's not so bad as Americans would say it. But yeah, one of my favorite all time things to say, and this is when you just are like at your wit's end and you
Right.
just really want to like curse.
Yes.
Oh, you're full of it. Feck off.
Feck. F-E-C-K.
Yes.
I have driven many miles with this woman as she's riding. She's either driving or as co-pilot here. And you will say, for feck's sake.
I say it all
Oh,
the time.
for feck's
When
sake.
something really vexes me or does not seem right or did not go the way I intended or is just wrong, I say, oh, for feck's sake.
Great word.
Sometimes I even say the American version.
There you go. It's Americanized for extra caffeine. So anyway, yeah.
Yeah, that's today's Irish language lesson.
I think it's grand of you to do that.
You're welcome.
The reason we put this in because literally have a 4-part series. Check out the other 2 parts on vocavacay.com. And part 4 is going to be coming up forthwith where we're going to cover
Yes.
Dublin. But right now we got to talk about the southern coast of Ireland. Talk about this. We're going to start. How do we say this? If you look at a map of Ireland, go to the bottom. That's the south. We're going to start on the southeast and ease over towards the southwest.
So I'm going to break it down really quickly just so it gives like a very good overall.
Perfect.
We're going to start, a good base to start in is Waterford.
Right.
Then we're going to go from Dunmore East over to Tramore to Dungarvan.
Yes.
To Ardmore.
Ardmore, yes.
To Cove. And then over to the Ring of Kerry.
Which is the far west, yes.
And Killarney.
Yes.
And Winterville.
There's a lot of good stuff.
And all the stuff over there.
Every one of
Yeah.
these towns is
So-
notable and worthy of mention.
If you're looking at a map, that's where we're going today.
So get your map out right now. 3, 2, 1. Spoiler alert. Here we go. So,
Yes.
so we're going to do this, and we're going to start in the lovely town of, let's go ahead and start at our home base of Waterford.
Give me the deeds.
And the deets go like this. First, the whole area is worth a visit.
Yes.
Because you have, let's start at Waterford.
Yes.
And then we'll go down to the Copper Coast. The Copper Coast is 25 kilometers long.
Yes. And it runs between Dungarvan and Ardmore.
Oh, Tramore.
Tramore and
The
Ardmore.
other Moore,
Sorry,
yeah.
sorry.
Tramore and Dungarvan.
Oh, did I get it completely wrong?
Yeah.
Ah,
Oi. It's
what
arse.
the feck?
We did arseways. No,
We
look at
did
your map from
arseways.
Tramore to Dungarvan. That
Yes.
it's a UNESCO Global Geopark.
Thank you.
And it is named after the copper mines that they had, and so they call it the Copper Coast.
Yes.
And it's gorgeous. There's sheer cliffs, and you have.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I don't know if it's the North Atlantic or just the Atlantic Ocean, whatever it is down
Yeah.
there, but nice.
Yes.
So what you do is you go to Waterford.
Yes.
You base down there.
Yes.
It's on the river. You're going to have to pronounce this for me. It's S-U-I-R.
Oh, the River Sure.
The River Shire.
Yeah.
You know, that's how you say that?
Yeah, the River Sure.
I totally get these things wrong. When you pull into the River Shire, here's what happened. The Irish have been people have been invading and kicking around Ireland for far too long.
That's why I have problems with authority.
There you go. The English, who were right next door, they were kind of bullies for a while. You had the Normans, you had the Vikings, you had everybody just romping in. And one of the places they always came through was Waterford because it's a great place to enter Ireland at.
Because it's on the river there.
Yeah, it's a natural
can sneak
port.
In.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
So what happened? The Irish got wise to this nonsense. They built some things there like Reginald's Tower.
Yes.
Reginald's Tower, actually, it was a fort, then it was a prison, now it's a museum. You can go in there. It's only about 3-4 stories tall.
Yeah.
But very cool stuff. You can go in there. And next to that, and this is right on the river, okay, on the quay.
Yes.
The quay. Oh, good word. Right next to that, they have a Viking longboat.
Yes, it's very cool.
If you think that you have to gird your loins to basically cross the street, it's like, I'm going to drive to Macon, Georgia. I need GPS. These guys were in a Viking longboat. And it's like, okay, we're going to leave and just go find another place called Ireland. Bye. We might be back. We might be dead. You can see what the boat was that they got there in.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Holy moly. Are you kidding me?
Very, very cool.
So you can do that. There's a medieval museum.
Yeah.
And there's
like a whole little triad of museums there.
Right.
There's like the Waterford Treasures, the Bishop's Palace, the Medieval Museum. It all explains all the invasions and all the wars and all of the religious turmoil of different people coming in with their own religions trying to take over and all of this stuff. And you can see all the tapestries and the real pages from the books, like journals and things, and it's very cool.
I'm all about culture.
Yeah.
That's where you find it's all walking distance. These museums right next to each other.
Yes.
So you just go walking through it. Also, right outside the museums, I got to tell you about this guy.
Yeah.
Thomas Francis Meagher.
Oh, right. Yeah, you love him.
I love this dude. And I didn't go to Notre Dame. Let's explain. Notre Dame Fighting Irish, okay? Right. It's a football team, which for some reason is always in the playoffs, and I don't like them.
You know what? I am legit Irish.
Yeah.
I should literally love them. Mm-hmm. I can't stand them.
I can't.
No offense to anyone listening that's a Notre Dame graduate or
if you're from Notre Dame, but right now we're not going to get along. I'll tell you. Who do you play for? We played the Coast Guard. Yeah, we played Coast Guard Academy. We should be in the top 5. No, you didn't. Play the SEC. I'm sorry, we're digressing.
I didn't know we were going to get off on this tangent, but I just have to say.
I'm just saying.
My other love of my life. WVU Mountaineers.
There you go.
They always kept them out of a bowl.
That's
and it used
right.
to really make me mad.
I hate Notre Dame. Notre Dame playing anybody, I'm rooting for the other team. I know. I don't know why that is. I just don't like them at all.
I'm sure they're lovely people.
No, they're not. But here's what the one lovely person they had was the one who created their namesake, which is Thomas Francis Meagher. Yes. Here he is. There's a fighting Irish statue of this dude, and it's right outside of all these things. It's right next to the Originals Tower.
Yes.
Here's what he did.
Okay.
This guy,
break it down.
He's kind of a dude. Mid-1800s, he was an Irish nationalist. He wanted Irish freedom. So, of course, the English don't like this dude. They capture him, and they ship him to a prison in Tasmania.
What?
Which is go to Australia, then keep going further south. They've stuck him down there, to which he escaped.
Oh, gosh.
Got on a boat and got to New York City. Okay, he's not even started being cool yet.
He is a certified bad A.
I love this guy.
I love this guy.
He gets to New York, and then, now this is the mid-1800s, so it's like, what, the civil...
He's a bad arse.
A bad arse.
I should have said it.
He's a bad arse.
It took me a minute. I was slow on the uptake there.
You got to get these things to your lexicon like that. Well, if you're knackered, you might not pull it off. Anyway, so what happens that he says, tell you what, I'm going to go to New York, and he joins the Civil War cause, and he recruits a bunch of Irish folk. The Irish folk, and they became known as the
Fighting Irish.
The Fighting Irish.
Now,
there you go.
Know, my people like a good brawl.
It's a badge of honor. Apparently, he was quite the bad arse. After that, he decided, what, my life's not done yet. He went out to Montana and became the territorial governor of Montana before it was even a state.
It's so random.
Who is this dude?
I don't know.
He died, and he drowned to death. He fell off a boat, and he drowned. They don't know if it was murder or...
Like Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, stop it all with your Leo worship. Turns out he died. They don't know if he was drunk, he was sick, whatever, but he drowned. And, of course, they're not going to investigate now. It's, hundreds of years ago. But he died at the age of 43.
What?
You were an Irish nationalist, got sent to Tasmania, back to New York, fought in the Civil War, became governor of Montana. You died at 43?
I feel like I've done nothing with my life.
Who is this guy? He is worthy of visiting his statue.
Wow.
Still not going to root for that football team, though.
And you don't go to statues often.
I don't.
Yeah.
I really don't. I'm just like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
You know, they can name streets after people and all that stuff. That's okay. But for me, I really like museums where there's a place where you just go in, you get the cultural experience, the reverence of it. I get that.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
That is a cool statue, though.
Very
And
nice.
that story is super cool.
Yeah.
So check that out when you're there in Waterford.
And all the other stuff is right there as well.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
So other stuff to do in Waterford. Well, you know, I like to eat.
Oh, who
so,
doesn't?
you know, I'd like to have a good nosh when I'm somewhere.
You're not fat, you're well-rounded.
Yeah. I get that a lot. So I want to talk about the food. And I want to start with the Waterford Blah. Now, for those of you who don't know, there are places in the world where there's a certain cuisine or a food item or like some sort of beverage that is only produced there and authentically made there.
Yes.
In that place.
It is specific to the geography and to the people and to the culture. It's right there.
Yes.
That's the spot. That's where you get it.
The best example I can come up with is real champagne.
Yeah.
Where it's made in France.
Yeah, because people say
champagne.
California champagne. It's not.
It's like sparkling wine.
Yeah,
or they make a champagne, like a version of a champagne, like they make champagne, but it's not champagne.
Yes.
Yeah, so the Waterford Blah is a protected food item that's made only in Waterford.
Right.
And it's a bread. It's like sort of like this it's not quite a biscuit. It's not that dense, but it's fluffy.
Yeah, but it's a
like
square little.
It's a piece of bread.
Yeah.
But it's just divine. And it's like dusty on the top. And, you know, I never heard of it until I went over there. They kept serving it to us.
Yeah.
And I became obsessed. And I was like, what is this? It's kind of like, it's more like a dinner roll.
Right. Yeah,
but it has
I can
like,
see that.
it's fluffy like a biscuit. But it's not, it's spongy more like a dinner roll. And so, but it's really delicious.
And you can only really get them properly there.
Yeah, I mean, they ship them out and they're all over Ireland, but they're made properly there. The place that we went, we did a documentary on this.
Yes.
Walsh's Bakery.
Walsh's
Bakery.
Yeah.
And we'll put the link so that you guys can check out the little short doc that we did on it. But anyway, people, again, this is a place, Ireland, you know, like a lot of other small European countries, people walk a lot more. And so, you know, people work probably near somewhere in their neighborhood. So in the morning, they walk to their job or their work. They stop by the bakery. They get, you know, a Waterford Blah. They put either some butter or some jam on it, or a lot of people put some ham on or like some sort of bacon, which is thicker ham over there than what we have as Americans.
Love it.
As bacon. And they walk to work. They eat it on the way, you know, and then again, throughout the day, you'll do your job, you'll come home, and then you hit the pub on the way home in the evening.
Yeah.
But so yeah, the Waterford Blah is really good. It's a good, like, nice little thing to have in the morning as you're going to work.
And we should point out that blah is spelled B-L-A-A.
Yes.
Yeah, so you pronounce it blah, but it's like blah. And it's actually, the first time I heard it's like, what are you calling this delicious food? It's like, oh no, it's the blah. You get a feed. Get a feed means you're going to eat. Okay.
Yes.
So you get a feed.
That's a good.
And you get some blah.
That's another good saying.
And
I got to go get a feed.
Yeah, and so you go to the bakehouse, the bakery, and just go pick these things up, and it's so good.
So that's the morning. So other places to eat in Waterford throughout the day, lunch or dinner, some really good places.
Yum, yum, yum,
we
yum.
had some really good tapas right in town across from, and we'll talk about this more in just a minute, Waterford Crystal.
It's right there.
Yeah. So we went to a place called Burza, and it was next to, it's like a bodega. It was like two little restaurants. And I think one of them proper its name is Bodega. But anyway, like nice little tapas place where you can get like a few little like bites. They did like some proper dinner meals, like steaks and stuff.
Right.
But we sat down and we just had tapas.
And it was so good.
Olives, salamis, little bits of cheeses, and some wine. And it was divine. It was delicious. Then we went to a really good Italian place called Antici Sapori, and we had proper dinner there. And in fact, shout out to these guys because it was so good that we literally over ordered. And that's hard for me to do because I just like to order things and then eat them. And so, but anyway, this place, we ended up getting like a pizza, a carpaccio, and also an antipasto. And it was so good. And it was the kind of place that looked like, in terms of Italian cuisine, it looked like the back of your Italian grandmother's house was made into a restaurant.
Yes.
And so it was really like quaint and cute and just, it was proper like Italian like decorations and like, but it was just fantastic.
Yeah, it was a very authentic Italian restaurant in Ireland.
In Waterford, yeah.
Yeah,
it was
like how did
really
that
good.
work? And it worked out so good. We loved it, and we had a really good feed on that. So
yeah.
I mean, the food is definitely there. You can find food, and you will enjoy it. We promise.
So the last food item I want to talk about, though, is my favorite and your favorite.
What?
You got to do the fish and chips. And, you know, when we say chips over here, we're talking about thinly cut potato that's been deep fried. No. We're talking about proper Irish chips, big, thick fries.
Yeah.
You got to go to mine and yours favorite of all of Ireland, probably. I don't know. It's a tough call. But
Johnny Walker's?
Johnny Walker's.
Johnny Walker's traditional fish and chips. When you go there, let's explain how this works and how a lot of these chippers and chipperies, they call them both. I've heard chippers and chipperies.
Yeah, sure.
But how that works, you walk in, and there's basically a board, and it's like, here's fish, here's chips.
What do you want?
how much of these do you want?
Right.
It's not like Red Lobster. It's like, there's pages of scampi and all sorts of bad stuff, and there's clams. No. They have fish and chips.
Yeah. That's
how
it.
much of that do you want? Did we mention there's no tables and there's no delivery?
And they serve it to you wrapped up in paper.
Yeah.
Either some sort of, I guess in the old days it was like newspaper, but like this was some sort of like, you know, restaurant wrapping paper. Yeah. Very nice.
When you walk in, it's like, hey, what do you have? It's like, and you just point, it's like, fish and chips. Like, okay, good on you. And they just wrap it like, here you go. And the expectation is that then you will leave and go eat it someplace else. Now, I know that it's a neighborhood thing, and everyone in the neighborhood, they just bop down, get fish and chips, and take it back to their house.
Because look, a lot of these fish and chip places, fish and chips restaurants, like little chipperies or chippies or whatever.
Yeah,
they are run by family. They're family owned. So they're family run businesses. And so they're just in little corner, like little pockets of neighborhoods. So this one in Waterford, you got to walk up the hill. You got to leave down by where everything's happening, where the tourist stuff is. Right. Walk up the hill, get your fish and chips. And the one thing that I like about Johnny Walker's is they introduced me to this sauce that I'm obsessed with because
I remember this.
I got traditional fish and chips with the vinegar and salt on my chips, which is proper how you need to do it. But they also introduced me to this garlic sauce, of which I could only find one other time here in the States, and I am obsessed with it. And so I am obsessed with that now. Yeah. But yeah, they are great. We'll talk about more fish and chips as we talk about Ireland. And this episode, the next episode, our last episode.
Because fish and chips is such a hallmark thing to eat over there.
We've eaten it so many.
We're just telling you right now, if you wind up in Waterford, go to Johnny Walker's.
Yeah. Wait, did I say chippy? It's chipper or chippery.
I've heard chipper and chipper. There's
I think
probably
a chippy is
chippies.
someone that like does carpentry. Anyway, let's move from food over to drink.
Well, hang on. Let's talk about the food before. Remember, because this leads to drink.
Right.
When you come out of there, by the way, since there are no tables, what we had to do, because we went a couple of times over the span of a couple of years.
I forgot about
Once
this.
we went to the left and we walked down a couple of blocks, which we're telling you how to do this now.
Yeah.
Walked down a couple of blocks and we found a single bench in just like, there's just a bench. And we sat down, we ate our fish and chips.
Come out of Johnny Walker's, turn left.
Keep
walk
walking
100 yards.
You'll find a bench.
There's a bench. It's just one.
There's just a random bench.
So we sat there. One of the other years we came out, we couldn't, that was taken. So we turned right. Yeah. We went down the hill a little bit. We found a little park.
Yes.
And so we sat, there was one bench there.
There's one bench. I don't know what they have against benches in Ireland, but there's a paucity of benches.
It's like you said, they just bring it back to their homes. Yeah. It's like I said, it's a walking type of place. So you hit the pub, then you pick up your fish and chips on the way home, and then that's your dinner.
And the thing is that, so when you're walking out, so you're going to pass by, if you go to the right, and we're talking about these other places where it's not food, but it's more of a beverage thing now.
Which way is the bar?
Woohoo!
We're about to tell you. When you come out of Johnny Walker's, down and just right across from it,
basically. It's right across the street. It's less than 50 yards. Just turn right and then turn, go across the street.
You'll see it.
Nikki's Pub. Shout out to Nikki's Pub. This is just a local neighborhood pub. Yeah. But it was fantastic. You can tell, like you were saying the other day, we were talking about this episode, and you were like, oh yeah, I got to remember to say that, like, and I'm sorry I'm taking this away from you, but you were like, you walk in and you know where everybody sits.
Yeah.
Like there are families that have been going here for years. And look, everybody goes there after work, has a pint, watches whatever is on the tube, which is usually some sort of hurling match that has happened between all of these different like neighborhood
the
hurling teams
or whatever,
the league teams. Yeah. It's very cool.
Yeah. Well, what I like about it is that it's very welcoming, and you walk in and you don't belong there for the first 10 seconds. And it's like, oh, come on in, get a feed. What do you have and all stuff? And you order things. Always make friends with the bartenders. And what you're looking for is a nice, I don't want to say a worn bar, but a bar that's been used.
Yes.
And you're also looking for little things called snugs.
Yes.
The snugs are like the tables, and they're just snug. They're just tight little table. They're not cramped.
Right.
But they're cozy.
They are.
And that's where you go if you're on a date or something like that. You just go back to the little snugs and all stuff. And it's a lovely thing. So we went to Nikki's Pub, which was great.
If you want to go to some more frequented by tourists and also the party people, like the young crowd at night, down by in the tourist section, like down the hill near Waterford Crystal and Reginald's Tower and all of that, there's 2 pubs that we also went to. Caddy Berry's.
Oh, yeah.
And it was also sort of like local neighborhood, but, it got a lot more action because that's a lot more tourists around there. But then Jeff's Pub.
Jeff's is bigger.
Oh, man. But it's also really cool. It's a cool vibe.
Yes.
Like the students really liked it. We really liked it. You just sit down, and that's where we had some really good beers for the first time.
Yes.
That's where you first had Smittix.
Smittix, and it is spelled Smith-Wicks.
Yes.
Rookie mistake, which I did not make. Do not print. I'd like a Smith-Wicks. It's Smittix.
Smittix.
It is Smittix. My favorite beer.
Yes.
Smittix. And
we sing a song to it. We'll do it in the next episode, though.
We cannot find Smittix here in Tennessee, unfortunately.
We used to find it in Georgia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is worth a trip going to Ireland. You, of course, you go the other way. You go these hoppy IPA things, which to me, I cannot drink your beer at all. So don't even offer to share because I don't want it.
I did the Meadow Man.
Yes.
Which is a more hoppy IPA, like you said.
And you love this thing.
I love it. It's just delicious. And those were amazing. They also have some good sour ales. Mm-hmm. They make some really good stuff. So just Jeff's Pub is a really good place to try some stuff.
And here's the deal about pubs, and we've mentioned 3, and there are many more. The thing about pubs is that Jeff's is more, I don't want to say collegiate, but it's a hipper vibe.
Yeah.
Every pub has its own different atmosphere because some are definitely family pubs, some are very quiet, some are a little more boisterous, some have sports events going nonstop.
Right.
It depends on where you go. You're going to find a pub that's right for you. And we sound like a couple of alkies, just like, oh, we go to the pubs. No, over the course of 3 years that we went, we'd say, hey, let's stop at this pub and see what it looks like.
Yeah.
And you just go and you have a pint, and it's like, it is the nicest, relaxing thing to do. So we had a great time there.
Yeah.
So we had the food, we had the drink, we had the culture.
We saw the things.
But there is one big place in Waterford.
Yes.
I know you're waiting for this, and it is the place where you got to go.
Give me the deeds.
Waterford Crystal.
Yes.
If you're watching us on YouTube right now, you'll see a vast array of things that have been purchased and procured from Waterford Crystal. We shall elaborate.
I have an affliction.
You do.
And an addiction.
The Amazon delivery guys or UPS, whoever shows up is like, uh-oh, something's coming. Here's how this works. But I kid, because they're actually, some of this is very reasonable, and it lasts forever. It lasts for generations, basically.
Artisan craftsmanship.
Sure is. It's really amazing stuff. Here's what happens. You can take the tour, and we highly recommend that you do.
Yeah.
Because Waterford Crystal is based in Waterford, Ireland. Who knew? I honestly didn't know until I got there. It's like, oh, that's why they named it this. I was unaware. I really didn't know. I was like, well, duh, that makes sense. It's like Hershey's Candies in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Really? Yes.
That's too easy.
I know. So you'll go in, and there's like a little multimedia audio visual thing where it's all over. It's kind of cool. It's like, oh, that's nice. And then they open the door, and you walk through the factory floor.
You
basically
see it being made, every part of the process.
Yes, you're on a catwalk, basically. So they're on a lower level than you are.
Yes.
But you're looking down at this, and it is stunningly cool.
You see the crystal blowing and mold making. You see them inspecting it, crystal cutting, the sculpting and engraving. Mm-hmm. You can see trophies that have been made from Waterford Crystal from football, soccer, golf, tennis, rugby, snooker, and horse racing.
It's everything.
I mean, I'm talking about the BCS football winners trophy, the Golf Irish's Open, golf's Irish Open, the Players Trophy, the Masters and snooker. I mean, they make all this stuff, and then they make everyday stuff for people like me that are obsessed with buying it.
Okay, well, here's the deal: the BCS trophy or whatever. So if you're the best college football team, not you, Notre Dame, but if you're another team that happens to win, like Alabama or Clemson, what happens is they give the crystal thing or whatever. Yeah, we totally got to hold one of those.
Yeah, they have one there for you to hold. Take the tour. It's about 90 minutes.
Yeah.
It's so worth it.
Yeah, and the thing is, you are so close to these artisans. It's almost unnerving because you'll be working like the guys who are carving and all stuff. You're 2 feet away from these guys, and they're totally used to people taking pictures.
Yes,
it's absolutely fine. And the one thing I did not expect was the sound of breakage. Oh, because it is nothing but ongoing quality control, step by step by step. If they go through and they just go, no, this one it's not grand. It's not grand. It's kind of off a little bit, or I don't like the way this is carved or shaped or whatever. They throw it in. It's not a trash bin, but it's a big trash bin of broken crystal.
It's so unnerving.
It's like, what's that? It's like, it wasn't good enough.
Right.
And they are not afraid to just go, that is not good enough for our standards. Holy cow, are you kidding me?
That is super, it makes you appreciate it so much more. And then also recognize why you're buying what you're buying and paying what you're paying for it. And so some of it is pretty expensive, but a lot of it is very reasonable. Yeah. So we came away with a couple of ring holders and some glasses. I just ordered the other day some candle holders. Yeah. And some salt and pepper
Got them
shakers.
right here.
I couldn't help myself.
So if you guys ever come to over to our house or something like that, here's what our candle holders look like. They're on YouTube right now.
So here's the thing. If you go on their website, you can find they have an outlet section where they have some things being discontinued and you can get even better prices.
Yeah, you can.
But the ring holders were only €35 or something.
Yeah, they're $35, whatever it was.
No, it's not bad.
No, and again, this is the sort of thing that it's going to last you forever.
Yeah.
So we have 2 of these. One of them we keep over the sinks when you're washing your hands or whatever. You put your rings off. Yeah. And the other one is where you put on makeup in the morning.
Yeah, I just put my bobby pins in it.
Yeah.
I just love it.
So it's these are the kind of things that you can totally get. And by the way, when you exit the tour, you're going through the world's largest gift shop and they have everything. It's all these different styles. And if you want something more advanced than, say, our salt and pepper shakers.
Like a proper highball and decanter set.
Yes.
They have those, which are beautiful. Or a chandelier.
They have chandeliers. They have...
Oh, my gosh. They have some ornate big things. They
will have a chandelier, and you'll walk in, and your first thought is going to be, I want to buy a house just to put that in it.
I want to build my house around that chandelier.
You really would.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, it's stunning.
It's very good.
So check out Waterford Crystal. I'm not even a big crystal guy thing, but it's
you appreciate it.
I appreciate the artistry and the skill that goes into making it.
Yes, for sure.
Because this is some really cool stuff.
So what do you do after this?
So after we leave Waterford, well, what we did is we were on a bus tour and we're with Excursion and all stuff. We go down to Dunmore East. Yeah,
so right now, leave Waterford and make your way down to rural Waterford. Yeah. And that's Dunmore East and Tremor. Yeah. And it's these 2 little fishing villages that are totally different, but you're so close together, you're going to see them both. Yeah. And so there's a castle... Right?
Called Waterford Castle.
Yes.
It's
down
right
in
there.
Dunmore East.
Dunmore East, yeah.
And it's a little fishing village. It's really pretty. Yeah. But make your way over to Tremor because right there is a carnival.
Yes.
And it's really cool. It's just right there on the beach.
It's like a county fair type thing.
It is, but it's constantly running.
Yeah. And it has a fun house.
And a Ferris wheel and all this stuff.
It has all the stuff that you see. It's like, oh, that's really good. And we were there, and right next to that is another chippery for fish and chips. Yes. Yeah, Dooley's Fish and Chips. So we got that down there.
So try that one. You got to try them all. Yeah. Just saying.
Yeah, you're not going to try it. You're going to try these things.
So after you've had all of this fun, then what do you do?
Well, let's see. After that, we here's the deal. It's a fishing village. Yeah. And we talked about there's great seafood. There is the Bluegrass Festival.
Oh, yeah.
I want to say that's every August.
Yes.
That they come through. I don't think they did because of COVID, but it's going to be coming back.
Yeah.
So they have some great stuff there. There is some local history there now.
Oh, yeah. Because I want to know more about that.
Give me the deeds.
What happened is and let me back up for just a hot second. Waterford, the emblem is the seahorse. So you'll see they do seahorse basically in Crystal also, by the way.
Yes.
So you can find those, and it's like, what's the deal with the seahorses? I didn't think they were around here.
And their little sticker that they put on everything.
Right. It's a seahorse.
Yeah, it's a little seahorse.
Kind of cute. And it's like, where did this come
their logo.
from? Turns out in 1816, it actually comes from a tragedy of a ship that was called the Seahorse. It sank in Tremor Bay back in 1816. It had a regiment of a bunch of soldiers. There are also some women and a couple of children on there. 364 people drowned, and there were 394. So only 30 people lived out of this. So less than 10%, whatever that is.
Yeah.
Very few people survived. As it happened, they were trying to go through, and it's sort of a dangerous strait to go through. A storm came up, and the one guy who was a local who knew where the hidden rocks and the shoals were, he was up on one of the mastheads, and the wind blew him off. He fell to the deck, and he died. So no one knew where to navigate, and they were basically pushed against the rocks,
That's awful.
and the ship broke open. What happened is there is a plaque there. It sort of commemorates what happened on. And the Seahorse since then, and the Seahorse was the name of the ship.
Yeah.
The Seahorse since then has been sort of like the icon of Waterford and for that entire area down there. So that is definitely what you can find down there.
Wow, that's really heartbreaking.
Yeah, and when you see these things, like, wow, that's part of the history. But what I like about the Irish, that they said, okay, we're going to pull together, and we're not going to ignore that this happened.
Sure.
This was a tragedy, and we're going to remember these people.
And you can go by and see kind of where it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. So we went there. We also saw more, shifting gears a little bit, something more lighthearted. Your Metal Man beer, the Metal Man statue is down there.
I had no idea there was a whole statue to commemorate my beer.
Yeah, but there's no Smittick statue, but there is. I'll find it. And then they have a local diving hole. Let me explain.
Okay,
it's on
this
the
is
coast.
really funny.
This is
At
great.
first, it makes you irritated if you are female, and then you're like, "Oh, it's funny."
If you're a man, you go, as it should be.
Oh, geez.
Is it the Guillemine local diving hole?
Guillemine.
See? Guillemine. I mispronounced again.
I hope I'm pronouncing it right.
Nah, you're probably right. Here's what, the Guillemine local diving hole. There's a sign there that it is for men only.
Yeah, it's really funny.
They're putting the M in YMCA, and here's why. It is only dudes that get to swim there until years ago, decades ago, actually, they open it up to everyone.
Sure.
The sign remains.
I know.
The sign remains, I tell you.
Because it's absurd and hilarious. Oh, my gosh.
So it's one of those where everybody marches right up, and they look at the sign and go, oh, well, that is wrong. And they're like, dude, anybody can swim there. It's fine. It's like, we just left it up because that's, how it was. And it's cute. We took pictures in front of it and stuff like that.
And it's really funny, and just, it's a cute little place, and you can see people just diving off and then making their way back up the ladders. And it's a cool little place to get in the water.
It is. It is. It's a lot of fun. So now leaving there, what you're going to do, you're going to get back on the road. You're going to go down the Copper Coast.
Yes.
And you're going to go past Dunhill Castle.
Yes.
Which is on the Copper Coast.
Yes.
There are so many castles.
There's so many castles.
There's castles all over the place.
So you can check that out. But what you really want to do is you want to stop at the UNESCO Global Geopark park and see place.
Right.
It's like some ruins. And so you park there and you go out and you see this part of the Copper Coast from right there. They did a lot of drilling, a lot of mining. And the cool thing about it is you walk out towards the cliff.
This is unnerving, by the way, what she's about to tell you. It's absolutely true, but it's so weird.
You start to walk out and you're like, this is very beautiful. And then you realize the ground feels spongy.
Yes.
It's been mined so much that it literally is giving way a little bit under you.
It feels like you're walking on a giant Nerf ball.
It does.
It's just like, what is this? And we had a guy's like, hey, don't get there. It's like, when he goes, hey, the mines.
Right.
The mines were underneath, and apparently they're like, we're not going to backfill them or anything like that. But don't take a bunch of people and start jumping up and down.
Exactly. There's a lot of history there. They mined a lot of copper, exported it. It was a big thing.
Yeah.
So you can go check that out.
Yeah.
And then what do you do?
Dungarvan. You want to know about this place?
Give me the deets.
Dungarvan goes like this. There's a place we went to in Dungarvan where not everyone, I don't know if everyone can go there, but because we teach TV stuff at a university, we took our students there. It's called Nematon.
Now, the cool thing and the reason why we're mentioning it, though, is because while you're in Ireland, if you turn on the TV, you're bound to run into some sort of Irish game, some sports, and the TG4 network that shows all of the league matches and all of the stuff. all the hurling and everything that you're going to see. Nimiton shoots mostly all of that.
Yeah, for TG4.
For TG4, yeah.
And what we love is that, and we talked about this in an earlier episode, if you think, oh, English and Irish, I speak English, I can listen to Irish and understand that. No, you can't. It's a totally different language.
Yes.
It's not even close.
Yeah.
But these folks, and there's other bastions of this around the country, they have everything in the Irish language, in the original native tongue.
Yes.
And it's like, that is so cool.
Yeah.
So we got to go in and actually talk to them. They speak English as well. And we got to talk to them and just say, hey, what do you cover? And they told us all about it.
They have like studios, they do post-production, they send people out into the field, and they shoot stuff. So you probably won't stop there, but it is cool to know that it's there.
And what it is actually down the road from an Irish language school. Now, we keep talking about the Irish language. Here's the deal. There are school children in certain areas, they go to the Irish language school. So you see all these little kids walking around going, la, 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 and they're speaking Irish.
Yeah.
Not English.
Right.
Well, it's their, dual language, second language thing. 3% of the locals down there. So it's a small contingent, but they're a very proud, fierce contingent about this.
Sure.
They still speak Irish exclusively.
Yes. Like we mentioned this in one of our previous episodes.
Yeah, off the Aran Islands.
Yes. It's like they take a lot of pride in continuing the education and the use of the language because of how many times they've been invaded and taken over.
I love that they do that.
I know, me too.
That is so cool.
And so, yeah, there's we visited the little Irish school there. I know that's probably something that not everybody is going to do or that they may allow other people to do, but it was good to learn about and just know that in this area, it's rich in culture.
I'm all about culture.
The fun thing about this is that not only is it the culture, but we've actually talked about, because Marie being like 120% Irish, we've actually talked about, wouldn't it be a cool idea? Because you've actually thought about going to like Irish language lesson classes.
It's too hard.
You go for like 6 weeks and they just put you in a room, they just speak Irish, come out with at least some phrases, phraseology.
You're right, fluttered.
I'm right, fluttered. I said arse backwards. So
some phrases. I would like to learn some like basic phrases
of the mother tongue.
Super hard.
But it's so cool that people do it.
Yeah.
So Ireland has that. The other thing they have, and this is again shifting gears a little bit, but you have to appreciate their history.
Yes.
And what they've gone through. They have a famine graveyard down there.
Yeah.
Between 1845 and 1849. Now realize that they're basically, England is next door, and they're not being nice to Ireland at this time. So England is still demanding money, and they're still demanding, goods and services and foods and all that stuff. And Ireland, there was the Great Famine.
Yeah.
It was the Great Potato Blight. And here's how a potato works. Try to plant a potato sometime. And what you'll learn is that you don't do not really so much from seed, but you plant potatoes from basically previous potatoes.
Right.
Those little sprouty eye things, you cut those off, put them in the ground. Guess what? You got more potatoes.
Right.
They had a blight. And if you look at the weather over that period of a couple of years, it was perfect for a blight. It got into the potato crop, and it basically turned all the potatoes into something very inedible. But they couldn't plant fresh potatoes because all the potatoes they had
were blighted.
Were blighted already.
Yeah.
So it's a spiral of just like, we've got nothing to eat. They weren't harvesting wheat or corn. I mean, it's really not set up over there for that sort of thing.
And also, I don't think a lot of people realize this, and we learned this while we were over there. Ireland is a big island, and there wasn't a lot of fishing. They didn't have a lot of men making boats.
Right.
They weren't going out and getting a lot of seafood.
That's just not what they did back then.
Yeah, and if they did, they were exporting it all to make money.
Yeah.
And so like it was the perfect confluence of a bunch of mess that happened that unfortunately killed a lot of people.
Yeah, half of the population of Ireland either died, I mean, literally starved to death, wasted away, or got on boats and immigrated to like America.
Right.
During that time. So it's one of those things that when you see these famine graveyards or these famine tributes, because there are several across the country, I think there's at least a dozen that I've read about.
Well, yeah, and this one that we're talking about is in Dungarvan proper. And so you can just find it, like Google it, and you can find how to get there. And it's just a place to go and like pay your respects. Yeah. And like just say a little prayer in whatever religion that you're in and be like, I'm so sorry that this happened, because it really was horrible.
Yeah. I mean, talk about families being separated and the death carts coming around, and they're basically hauling away the bodies of your family.
And by the time they did, they would have to go back and get more. It was happening that fast.
Yes. So it wiped out. And this is one of those situations that it really defined Ireland as a culture, as a people,
Yes.
and how they even bounce back. The resilience that the Irish people had is something to be admired.
And it made a lot of the population start to examine that early on what Irish food culture is, something that I'm now obsessed with because I had no idea that what I was eating when I was younger and in my family and growing up, that it was Irish American food and not Irish proper cuisine. And now what that has even morphed into today with sustainability. And like we talked about in our other episode, like, the West Coast and what they're doing to do things with seaweed and seafood and stuff. So it's morphed into what Irish food culture is.
Yeah. And that's, literally she did a documentary called From Shore to Farm to Fork, which was basically you're taking foods that are indigenous and you're making them into a cuisine.
Yes.
Which is what has totally happened all over Ireland now,
Yeah, for
which
sure.
is pretty amazing stuff. So check those things out and then just sort of respect, where these things have come from, what the history is, because it has shaped Ireland as a culture and definitely as a nation. When you get back now you're getting back in your car or on your bus and you are going to go west towards Ardmore.
Give me the deets.
We got so many deets for you today. I hope you're following
Deeting it
along
up.
on your Rand McNally Atlas map because these are important things. Ardmore, lovely town. No, it's a village. No. It is a clean village. I digress. It has been awarded Ireland's tidiest village award.
That is so funny and cool.
If you're a clean, and by the way, let's point this out. It is very difficult to find trash on the road in Ireland.
Yeah.
It is an obsessively clean country.
Yeah, they take very much pride.
Yeah, it's not sanitized. It's just, it's like, no, that doesn't go there. And they'll pick it up through it. It's like, I love these people so much.
Yeah.
In Ardmore, you will definitely get that field. You can go down, you can sit on the beach. There's a snack shack. We got a feed.
Get some pictures on the beach. It's lovely.
We did that. And we'd be remiss if we did not mention before you even get to Ardmore. Here's how you know you're getting to Ardmore. You're going to drive down the road and you'll know it when you see it.
Yes.
You'll see the House of Rabbits.
House of Wabbits.
House of Wabbits. There's Wabbit twice. We're just barreling along and the guy, Tony, who's driving our bus.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, the rabbits come up. And we're like, wait, what? It's coming up. Hey, the rabbits. Like, what are you talking about?
I've never heard so many people at the same time go,
oh, they're so cute. There is a house outside of Ardmore, and
it's like right before you get into the town.
You're just turning the corner, and this place is filled with like 30, 40, 50 rabbits just bouncing around in the yard going doo-doo-doo. And we learned that rabbits, when they're born, they pretty much stay around. They don't travel. They don't migrate.
That's what hares do.
That's what hares do. That's right.
Right.
But rabbits are sort of like, I'll just hang out here all the time. And so you have rabbits who are there all the time.
And then you know the saying, multiply like rabbits.
They do. And oh my goodness, we went 3 times to Ardmore over 3 successive years with these different tour groups. And every single time when we're going by, it's like, hey, check out the rabbits. Hey, everybody look out the right window or something like that.
Yeah.
And they'd look out, it's like, rabbit, rabbit. And you can take pictures of the Eiffel Tower, take pictures of the Great Wall of China. I've never seen people jump for their little camera phones faster and seen a bunch of rabbits on the side of somebody's house.
I like the bunnies.
Oh, they're so cute.
They're so cute.
Oh, wrestling rabbits.
So you do that. You go into the tiny little village, and this village is also the home base of St. Declan.
Yes, and now this is very important because this is the one really important thing to do there.
Yes.
That I recommend everyone do because it is so... It's inspiring. It's eye-opening. You learn a lot of stuff, but it's just breathtaking.
It is.
So break it down for me.
Okay, St. Declan, this guy who was a saint, he
Yeah.
was wandering around in the 5th century. So it's 400 whatever in the 400s. So 1700 years or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
And he basically lived a monastic life where kind of like a hermit. He basically just lived
He lived with nature.
What we would say off the grid. But this is 5th century off the grid.
Sure.
So this guy is basically just living on his own. However, what you can do, there's a 56-mile walk from Ardmore up to Cashel.
And we're not suggesting take that walk.
No. But that's St. Declan's, the whole walk. But there's a St. Declan's walk down there on Ardmore around the cliffs. And you go down, and it's fascinating because this is the guy who brought Christianity to the south of Ireland.
So this is only what what was it, like a mile and a half, 2 miles?
It is maybe 2, maybe a little bit further than that.
But
yeah,
it was
not terrible.
It wasn't 56 miles.
No.
So like, but you're up high, you're on the cliff there, and you're walking past the ruins of where he like stayed, lived in nature, listened to the sounds, smelled the smells, saw the nature, the flora, the fauna, and you're like literally walking around this going, I could do that too.
Yes,
like,
you
like,
really could. It's like,
really good.
there's something to be said for just being on I'm just going to live my own out here, and it's a good spot.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. I never update my Facebook thing. I am terrible at that, my own personal page, which you guys can totally look at. I don't care. Because, hey, it's me. Hi, how's it going?
Hey, how you doing?
But here's, I actually took a picture from St. Declan's Walk there.
Yeah.
Of the Irish coast, and the water is so blue and the grass is so green. And that was actually my Facebook, landscape wallpaper, whatever you call that.
Yeah.
It was that for, I think, 3 years.
It was your cover photo.
Cover photo. That's what I never changed this. Like, that is wham. It is just stunning stuff.
It's beautiful.
So you can definitely do that. And they do have walks, I think, I want to say annually, but of course with COVID, who knows? But what they've done is there are groups of people who will make that walk, the 56-mile walk from Ardmore to Cashel. And
we mentioned the Rock of Cashel in our first of our 4-part series.
That's right.
So go back and listen to about that.
It all ties together.
Yeah. So anyway, do that. I highly recommend it. And then, move on to where we're going next.
The next place we go a little bit further west. You think we're going to Cork? Oh, no, we're going to stop before the big city of Cork. We're going to Cove.
Give me the deets.
They got deets on Cove. Cove is, you remember that lion liar called Leonardo DiCaprio that I started the show? I was so angry about. My anger has not waned, by the way. No dissipation here. Here's why.
Can't let it go, can you?
I cannot, and I will not. I shan't, I tells you. The Titanic Experience. This is the museum of the Titanic. Remember, in the Titanic, before it sank, it stopped off in Cove. It was one of the last stops.
And you had said just previous to this, a lot of people left Ireland and came to America.
That's right.
Yeah.
So what happened with the Titanic is now they've established White Star Lines.
Yes.
That's the name of the operation. And you can go there and go, this was where the people, I mean, this was a little bit, later on, it was fancier. We still get the idea. They're going to go across the Atlantic now.
Right.
On the Titanic.
And they stopped here.
They stopped off. You can go there, and here's how this works. You will walk in, and there is a tour that before you even start, I guess the first stop of the tour is you look at the pier. The actual pier where they where they boarded is still there.
So what they did was the big ship was out in the ocean, but they sent tenders.
Yeah,
so little boats.
The little boats that come out.
The pier that you actually see.
Right. So they send them to the pier.
It's still there.
Yeah. And so you get on the tour, and what happens is they're dressed in period costume.
Yeah.
A lot of these folks, and they say, okay, here's what happens. Okay, come aboard. If you're first class, you go here, third class. And they take you into replicas of what the ship was like. So if you want to know what it's like in a first class salon and how they slept, what their beds look like, they show it to you.
And the reason you know if you're first class or third class is because before the tour starts, they give you a card.
That's right.
And they divvy them up between male and female. And they say, here's your card. And you look down and you see which passenger you were.
They give you a name. That's right.
They give you a name. And these were real people.
That's right. That's right. There's 123 passengers. There are more on the boat, but they have 123 cards. So you're going to be one of these 123 people.
Yes.
It just cycles through.
Yes.
So you go, okay, they give you a card.
And you're like, oh, look, I was first class. Yeah. But of course.
And you see the salon where you stay. You see the menu of what you ate.
And you see I did not know this, the difference between supper and dinner.
Yes.
And when you eat,
it's so cool.
When you eat, what you eat, and the different meals and what they ate in third class and what they ate in first class. Yeah. It is so interesting.
So if you've seen Titanic, you see what Rose was eating versus what Jack was eating. Okay, there's your reference. So, but it's such a neat thing. And you go through and then they say, oh no, they act like, oh no, we've hit an iceberg. Everything's calm. Everything's okay. Come this way. And it's like they take you through it.
Oh, wow.
And it's just one of the, you actually get chills.
Yes, you do. And so you come out at the end and there's a big replica of the ship. And then you go to these little kiosks and you find the name that's on your card of who you are.
And did you live or did you die?
And you see if you lived or died. It is so cool.
I died every single time. How'd you make out?
I lived every time.
Yeah, you're 3 for 3 every time. I'm like, Rose. And I sank to the bottom of the North Atlantic Ocean.
Oh, well.
Every single time.
What are you going to do?
But I'll tell you what, it's a neat place to go
is.
to. It's one of the, and then you find out all the history, and you find out there were people who were there was a pastor who got off the boat because he had like a bad vibe about it. He's like, yeah, I need to go. But there's like 2 or 3 people got off. You find out people got on at the last second who got, and it's like they know everything. They'll tell you the stories. And by the way, the gift shop is, I think it's at the front. But
it
is.
You end up at it anyway.
Yes, and so it's a circuitous route you go through. The thing is, they have books, they have medallions, they have
the Irish family crests.
That's right.
If you're doing any of your Irish family history.
That's right.
Yeah.
Everything you want to know about the Titanic, you can find out right there. An amazing resource. You come out, and by the way, when you come out, then you're in Kennedy Park.
Yep.
It's at the old harbor right next to the Titanic Museum, and there's some statues there. There's a memorial site to the Lusitania also.
Yeah.
To that ship. So it's like, wow, there's a lot of stuff. Again, it's just like Waterford. Really compacted information right there.
And it's cool to see. And then you want to walk around the town.
Darn right.
Because after you do all of that, and here's the thing, we are near Cork. But Cork is just a regular city. I mean, I'm sure it's beautiful. We didn't really spend much time there.
No,
we went through it.
We did more for villages on this on these tours.
And so in Cove, so if you see Cork, come down to the Titanic Museum. But also, you want to go out and you want to walk around the town because there's other stuff to see in Cove. But before you go see it, you need to stop off and get something at the sweet shop.
You're not fat. You're well-rounded.
There's a candy store, the sweet shop. It is right across. If you ever thought of an old-fashioned, it's so good.
It's so good.
I love how the Irish have candy. I really do. These candy shops, it's like,
they do it right.
And it's not like, hey, do you have toys and you have skateboards and you have clothing? It's like, no, we sell candy.
I know,
that's all we do. It's a proper candy store.
Yes, exactly.
I love that. I'm drooling right now. If you hear me salivating, that's not your speaker. That's my microphone getting wet from just candy. So you
have a sweet tooth.
I absolutely
have what's called a beer tooth. Anyway, go ahead.
If I don't eat candy, I'm being serious. If I don't eat candy every day, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
I eat candy daily.
You do.
Well, that's why you do. No,
his body is a temple.
Yeah, Aztec. It's one of those pyramids. Exit the candy store and you go up the hill. You're going up the hill because there is St. Coleman's Cathedral. You can see this from all points in Cove.
You can.
Because Cove is on the water, so everything else is going up.
Yeah.
You go up the hill, St. Coleman's Cathedral. Holy moly. Time for a history lesson.
It's beautiful.
It is stunning. Turns out that this is a massive stone church.
Yes.
Again, 1868. Let's start in the mid-1800s, shall we?
Yes.
Bishop Keene. This place the construction outlasted 2.5 bishops, and I'll elaborate. Bishop Keene, they start building this, and it's massive stones. It's tons of cubic feet of stone.
Yeah.
All right. This is pretty massive when you see this thing. And they're just stacking the stones up. Bishop Keene comes along because it's going to be his church and goes, can you make it bigger? Okay.
Just like a man. Can you just do it bigger and better and just bigger?
They added thousands and thousands of cubic feet of stone.
Oh my gosh.
It's more expensive. It adds years to the development cost. It adds more to the financial cost. And by the way, you can never find plans for the original cathedral now.
Wow.
Because they changed it so many times. It's like, keep making it bigger. So Bishop Keene dies. In walks Bishop John McCarthy. He's like, oh, this is nice. I'll oversee it. What?
Make it bigger?
No, well, then he's surprised. Then he dies.
Oh, no.
Then the third bishop, Robert Brown, he shows up and he's like, okay, well, just finish it off. And they did. They consecrated this in 1919. They started in 1868. What was this, 50 years later?
Wow.
They finally finished this thing. But it's gorgeous.
It's not as long as the Sagrada Familia in Barcelona.
As far as just perpetual building.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's the same idea. If you're the neighbor, you're complaining about the noise. Like, dude, 51 years. Will you wrap it up?
St. Declan's like, stop it. Stop it already.
Now, you can.
Totally different times, by the way. But I'm just saying.
You can go in. You'll get all sorts of great photos and all, but then you always have to keep backing up.
Right.
You ever been in one of those places you have to keep backing up, get the whole thing in the shot? You back up. To which my lovely and talented wife says, oh, by the way, let's go over there. Let me explain. This is not like Declan's pilgrimage, but it was a hike for me. She says
it's all uphill. It's hard for a pyramid to walk uphill.
Have you done? I can show you a Venn diagram of me overlapping with my pyramid shape with a hill. They don't connect. As it happens, we go across this place. It's called Westview. She finds this little place. It's like a neighborhood.
Run into a cat.
There's some shops. Oh, yeah. And by the way, she has cat radar going on because once again, she's in foreign country. she's in a foreign country and a random cat's like, meow, be my friend. And they just rub, purr, 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 purr. This is Marie making that sound, by the way. The cat's fine with everything. Just, oh, I love cats. Cat's like, I love you so much. Then Marie inevitably says, can we take him home? I'm like, are you kidding? We got to kidnap this cat, put it on the tour bus, get it through the hotel, get it on a plane, and then another. No.
I love them so much. I'm glad they find me because I get to give them rubs.
This was a well-fed, robust cat, by the way. This one, a scrawny alley cat. This is like, hey, you going to the church? Okay, you go up here. Like, okay.
All right, whatever.
So Marie finds another cat. Yeah, we took pictures. So it turns out, so then what we do is we lose the cat, and and Marie's like, okay, let's go this way, and she has this framing in her mind of what a good picture should look like,
because this place is gorgeous and beautiful and amazing,
and you want to get the harbor in the background, and the tree has to be here, and also, so here's how you do it. I'm going to save you from. No, you're not. You just know exactly what you want. What you do is you go through Westview, you take a left on Spy Hill. Are you writing this down? You should be writing this down. You go left on Spy Hill. When you go between a school near the Bella Vista Hotel, I swear to God, I'm not making this up.
My cheeks hurt. I'm laughing so hard.
You look over the school and there's a little gap and boom, there is the perfect vantage point to take this photo.
It is true though, and that's why we mention it, is because for those of you who want to be Instagram famous, this is what you got to do to find the shot.
Yeah.
And so this was a good little nugget that we wanted to give people.
Right.
So that because the church is so beautiful and amazing.
You want to get a good shot.
Yes. And out, that you want to get a good shot. And so if you just go up the hill a little more and hook around, you can look left and it's right there in between some buildings.
And you'll go, that is the shot.
It is.
And it's a really awesome shot. I'm sure the people at the Bella Vista Hotel are going to be like, hey, there's more people standing out to get their photos because the Voca Vacay, they told us to go there. Yeah, we did. We want our people to know exactly where to get the best photo.
That's right.
So you can do that. And by the way, all throughout the town, you're not only going to see this church, you're going to hear this sucker too.
Yes. They
have a carillon, and that is an assemblage of 49 bells. It's one of the largest bell collections in your. So whenever you hear the dong, 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 that's called a carillon because there's that many bells. Here's something I did not know. If a church has 22, from 1 to 22 bells, it's called a chime.
Huh.
If you have 23 or more bells, it's called a carillon.
Is it a carillon or a carillon?
I'm reading carillon.
Oh, wow.
I'm probably.
It's okay. I just wondered.
They actually have carillon players who are specialized in play. It's like an organ master at a church, but they have people who do nothing but play the bells.
That is so cool.
It's amazing.
It sounds amazing. This is a place for all of your senses.
It is.
To see things, smell things, hear things, touch things. It is amazing.
Yeah, and this is one of those towns where we say, if we were to retire someplace, because we love the west coast of Ireland.
Oh, man.
So much. I love the Aran Islands.
I know.
But this, if you want something a little bit bigger with a little bit more stuff, Cove is a great place to go.
And I like that it's right there on the sea.
Yeah. And
it's beautiful.
And can we point out there's something there for everybody in the family?
Yeah.
So if it's like, well, I don't want to walk around too much, well, you can go hang out at Kennedy Park. There's the Titanic thing. Everybody's going to love the Titanic Museum too. Something for the kids. And if you want the photo things and do some adventuring stuff or walking about and great food and all stuff, everything is right there in Cove.
Yep. And if you don't find it in Cove, you can go right up to Cork. It's right up the road.
That's right. It's a bigger city with more stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're leaving Cove, and then he's like, okay, now we're going to go west. Don't worry. Our tour is about to wrap up because now we're approaching southwestern Ireland.
We are.
We're getting to southwestern Ireland, and this is a drive that you want to take. No, let's rephrase. You want someone else to take the drive. You want to be a passenger so you can look out the window and see what's out there.
Yes.
It's the Ring of Kerry.
I had no idea that this part of Ireland was going to be so picturesque, grandiose, beautiful, amazing. I said amazing, grand, all of the things, because these are the tallest mountains in all of Ireland.
Yeah, they are. And it's one of those things you look at, it's like, this is an amazing place.
Give me the deets.
The deets go like this. The Ring of Kerry is 111 miles around. It's a circle, like a ring. Duh. So if you were to drive it at the speed limit, and that's what you're going to do, it's about 3.5 hours nonstop. But you're going to make some stops.
Yeah.
So this is Southwest Ireland. This is a world-famous driving area, basically.
Yes.
And what you want to do, ideally, because we're on a tour bus, and I'm very thankful we were in that. I was not driving in this part, because I really want to look outside, and so should you. As you're driving around, you'll see these high mountains. And by the way, look for the sheep.
Oh, the Cheaps.
Because the Cheaps, and what they do, I didn't know this. All the if you're a sheep rancher, sheep farmer, sheep rancher, I guess is the term.
Wrangler.
What you do is that you spray paint a little bit of like a
color,
like a green check mark on the left flank of your sheep, and you just let them go.
Yeah.
And then your neighbor O'Flannery will have like an orange circle on the right hoof, and they'll spray and let them go.
Yep.
And so everyone does this, and what happens is you just go around, and these sheep, there's no fences up there. The sheep are just wandering around.
That's what they do.
Sheep are going to sheep. and that's what they're doing is they're just hanging out being sheep, and you're driving along going, look at all the sheep.
They're so cute.
And at the end of the season, they go up and like, hi, O'Flannery, hi, James, and others. And they go through and they divvy up the sheep. It's like, hey, away with you and all this and that. And that's how they do it. They go down and they shear them. They get the wool.
And, you know, it's very cool because I never thought in my life I'd see so many free-range Cheaps.
Yeah, it's free-range Cheaps. There's the Cheaps. So you see all the Cheaps.
Very cool.
You see the towns. You'll go through Killarney National Park, which is flat out beautiful.
And the cool thing about that is that there's all these little roadside stop-offs.
Yes.
So you can like take pictures of like proper dells and valleys and just like all these things. And there's like people with like, you know, they're selling like little handmade things out of like, I don't know, what was the rattle? Like,
oh yeah.
Yeah, like
made out of reeds and all these
and like stuff.
It's all this natural stuff they're making. And if you can actually find some smaller things, not like full-blown sweaters I didn't see, but they have like little gloves and things like that, like little wool tapestry, stuff like that. Yeah, they're totally going to hook you up.
On all these little stops where you can just take pictures, and it's amazing.
So you're going to do that. You're going to go through Killarney and Kells and Waterville. The fun thing about Waterville is that Waterville, you're going to be driving along minding your own business.
I'm minding my own business.
You're looking out the window and you're going to say, dude, is that a statue of Charlie Chaplin?
And then
you're literally going to look.
Pull over. We got to see this.
You're going to say, dude, is that a statue of Charlie Chaplin? It's one of those random things.
Yeah.
It's kind of like in Vilnius, they have a statue of Frank Zappa.
It is so
They have
random.
a bust of Frank Zappa, the singer, just in Vilnius, Lithuania. It's like, what's that doing there?
But then you look it up and you understand why.
Charlie Chaplin used to go on vacation there. He would go to Waterville, and he went one year. He went in 1959.
Okay.
Then he came back the next year.
Of course.
And the next year. He did it for over a decade.
Hey, that's how it happens. We draw you in.
He just liked it so much. He kept coming back to the same place, and they loved him so much.
Yeah.
They took him as one of their own. And it's just like, oh, yeah, that's totally Charlie Chaplin.
Yeah, I love it.
You can take pictures with, the statue.
It's beautiful. It's right there on the beach.
Yeah.
There's like a little place. There's always little places to just like stop in and get something to drink or like whatever.
Yeah, and to get a feed.
But go skip some rocks, check out the statue, and then continue on the ring.
Continue on, and now one of our favorite little places is a town called Sneem.
See, that's what you do, though. You do this to me every time. This is one of our favorite places. No, this is one of our favorite places. And then I'm like, they're all my favorite place.
Okay.
And then I don't know where I would live because also I would live in Sneem.
Cove is my favorite larger town.
Yeah.
Sneem and the Aran Islands are my favorite villages.
Oh,
That's
gosh.
the difference.
I don't even know where to start.
Because just for population, Sneem is
I could live in a mall.
You need to go to Sneem, Sneem. It means the knot, Knot.
Yeah.
Because everything connects there.
Yes.
That's what they call it in Irish, so they call it Sneem. Sneem, they have Kelly's Bakery, Deli, Tea, and Coffee House. Please go there.
They have some real proper Irish food.
Yep.
They had some quiches. They had some pies. They had cakes.
Yeah.
They had all this stuff. They had soda bread. They had good Irish stew. They had all the potato dishes, Colcannon and Boxty, and they had, all the stuff.
And by the way, when we're going on about these places, it's not like they gave us, hey, you would eat here for free. No. We don't even tell them we're doing these things. We genuinely like the places that we go to.
Yeah.
And that's why we're encouraging you so much. It's not like, hey, we got $10. No, we didn't.
You know what? One time we went, we ate there.
Yeah.
One time we just went to the local supermarket. They have all over Ireland, the Tesco's or the
Spars.
Centras or the Spars. And there's a little park also in Sneem right there. And we actually just went and got a little grocery store sandwich and ate in the park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Kerbal O'Dolly Memorial, he was the 5th Irish president or whatever. And there's a tribute to him there in that park.
They have a little memorial there for him. But here's the thing. Also in Sneem, you grab a bite to eat and just have a proper sit and get a proper feed.
Yes.
Just for a moment.
It's grand.
Then go over to Quills and buy you some proper Irish stuff.
You love this place so much.
I did. I loved it because they have the real Ireland made, the real Irish woolen proper sweaters and like
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you just go in there and you can get souvenirs for the whole family and spend a little bit of money on yourself and get a good Irish sweater.
Here's the deal. I don't know how good, well, we have a good looking audience. This has been proven by science. We have a good looking audience, but holy moly, you will look stunning if you walk out of there with their clothing, because I'm not I'm not a fashion guy at all. Look at me on YouTube right now. I'm wearing a Hawaiian shirt. I swear I'm not making that up.
That's true.
So, well, hey, I'm in a Hawaiian shirt doing a show about Ireland, but in there, I'm trying on suits. It's like, oh yeah, and here's a 3-piece. It has the, and it's like a green plaid and has these colors.
Yeah.
And I'm walking around going,
should have seen him in the kilt.
hey, there's Scotland. They have everything. Even if you have a friend and you take them there, they're moderately good looking. You dress them in these clothing, they're going to be stunning.
Well, and here's the thing, like the sweaters are really worth the money. And we talked about this in a previous episode, so I'll just say it briefly now. They are made with the lanolin. They're thick. They're heavy. They have, the clan weaving for all the different Irish clans.
Yeah, the patterns of every clan. Yeah.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
And so it's you need to spend some money and get something like that for yourself because it will last you a lifetime.
So they absolutely will.
You looked really good in one of the male cardigans.
Thank you.
And the hat.
Thank you.
It was a proper Irish cap.
I don't even wear hats that often. When I do, I want one from this place.
I know, it's very good.
It's really nice. So circling back now, we're finishing our tour. We go to Castle Rossa, and this is where we're wrapping it up. At Castle Rossa, we stayed there. It's a golf course resort type place.
Here's why this place is cool.
Yeah.
Now, we stayed there every time that we did this tour, that we went and did this. We were, like we said, we were with a group of people. We were with students. They have so many different accommodations. That's why this place is cool. It's a really big hotel, so they have the hotel rooms.
Yes.
They also have little chalet apartment type things that are more self-contained.
Yeah.
That have like, your own little like washer dryer.
Yeah, it's like your own little house,
little
basically.
kitchen. Yeah. But then they also have dormitories.
Yeah.
So they have like 6 or 8 beds per room, and like you can, all kinds of different groups of people can stay here. And they take a lot of they have a lot of bus parking, so they take a lot of bus accommodations.
Right.
So, I mean, here's the thing though. There's stuff to do there. There's swimming. They have a pool. They have a gym. They have the golf course. They have a variety of places to sit and have a pint. They have like one section is like a proper pub with just like the bar and some tables. Another section does like karaoke, and they have like people playing live music.
Right.
I mean, it is very cool. And the food is amazing. So you get really good, like a 4-course dinner, and you get like really good, like proper Irish breakfast. It's amazing. Blood pudding, sausages, properly boiled egg, like all the stuff.
And what we really like is that when we're
and the blah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And they have the blah too. When we're doing this, by the way, what we really like about this is when we're looking out at the dinner, we were looking out over the golf course. It is a stunning thing to look over and just see a vast expanse of gorgeousness.
Yes.
Unpolluted by power lines or billboards or lights. It's a nice place.
Yes.
Castle Rossa is what you're looking for.
really recommend to stay there.
So we thought, okay, if we're going to go and we're going to do Ireland and we're going to do the south of Ireland, go along the Copper Coast, see all these cool places, clearly we will, there's little pieces of information that we need to bring back.
Yes.
And there's things that we got to talk about and all this, but boy, when you get down to it, sometimes you are going to have an argument. Sometimes you're going to bicker. This is the part of our program that we just hash it out right now. It's time for Monica versus Joey.
It's game on. It's time for Monica versus Joey.
Hey, for this one, can I be Joey?
You always are.
You always are Monica. Again.
This is how it works, people.
That's what keeps it fresh all the time. Turns out.
Oh, honey.
Oh, I love you so much.
I love you.
I love you. Monica versus Joey. If you've ever seen Friends, these are two different, they love each other. They're good friends, but they see things a little bit differently. This happens on vacation because sometimes you're on a different wavelength. We'll talk about the food. We talked about fish and chips.
We did.
Fish and chips. You can find fish and chips. I grew up eating Arthur Treacher's fish and chips in the Midwest, and there's Long John Silver's, and there's all sorts of, Captain D's and all this. But until you go to Ireland and get proper fish and chips, you don't get it. It's just a different level. If I'm Joey, if I go there, I want fish and chips.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Monica's kind of agreeing with me, but wait a minute, Monica. Why are you looking at other items on the menu? What is going on?
I know. You're just really tried and true to the thing that you like, which is very much like Joey on Friends. He had his sandwich from his place.
He wants a
his
sandwich.
pizza
That's
the
all
way
he's
he
going to
wants.
eat. That's
Yeah.
it.
And you know what? That is fine. But I like, well, and this is probably.
You're not fat. You're well-rounded.
Again.
This is why I'm fat. I like to try it all.
Yeah.
I like to try everything. And because these are my people, like I want to have the proper like traditional stuff and try it all.
Yeah.
I want to have the stews, the coddles, the soda bread.
Yeah.
I want to get all the different potato dishes. Like I just am like, I want to eat it all right now. And then I, pay for it later. But like, I do love, it's a good argument to have because I do think that when you are somewhere, you should always try something you can't get at home.
Yes.
And you should try all different things.
Yes. And
because you never know what you're going to be like. Oh my gosh, that awakened all of my senses. That is just amazing on my palate. Like I had no idea that was going to taste that way or that experience. But I do understand that when you just love your fish and chips, you got to have all the different kinds of fish and chips.
And look,
I get it.
I see where you're coming from, and there's no bad Irish food. Irish cuisine is actually a thing, and it's actually quite good. And kudos to them. But the thing is that when I find a food that I consider one of my favorite foods, I'm just going to keep eating my favorite food over and over and over again.
True.
And go to a different shop and say, hey, what sauce do you have? What do your chips taste like? And all that. So that's just what I'm going to do. I love the fish and chips that much.
Well, and that was how I found that garlic sauce. Like
That's right.
I had no idea I was going to love that.
That's right.
So, yeah.
So so Monica versus, not agreeing to disagree, but there are certain things. So when she's looking at me, it's like, are you going to have the fish and chips again? It's like, well, yeah, it's breakfast. What do you want me to eat?
I'm like, how many times can one man eat fish and chips
You're going to
in
have
one
the
day?
blood pudding
Several.
or whatever you're eating. Like, I don't know what you're eating, but hey, I got fish and chips. All is well with the world. But, not only that, there are things that we do agree on. And there are things that we look at and go, you know what? If you're going to do this, you're going to do it the right way.
Yes.
Time to tell you a little bit of insider info, a little travel nugget.
Ooh, I like a good travel nugget.
Hey, let's do a twofer.
Ooh, do it.
We got two things, not one, but two nuggets this time around. Number one, we sort of alluded to this earlier. We do go to bars. And again, we're not heavy drinkers or whatever, but it's like, you know what? If we're going to go someplace and just see what the local flavor is, the local customs are, over there, a lot of it is, it's where the pubs are.
Which way is the bar?
Oh, again with the bar. Okay, here's what happens. When you go there, talk to the bartender.
Yes.
And order local. We are adamant about this. We actually went to Jeff's. This happened in Waterford to us. We're at Jeff's. We're sitting at the bar, and we had a great talk with the bartender. I had a Smittix. You had a middleman. And the bartender got upset because some French tourists came in, and the server comes up, and and so we didn't see these guys. She said, there's a French table or a table over there, some French folks, and he goes, yeah, they want Budweiser.
I think I heard him say, like it was very muffled, but he was like, Frenchie. And I was like, oh, no.
So he gets the Budweiser and turns to us and goes, hey, they don't know. And look, we're not pretending to be, we're not like, hey, we're from the Dungar, from the Moors, the Islanders.
No.
We're not saying that. We're obviously Americans, but look, you've got to just try the new thing. And this is where it's not so much like, hey, I like the fish chips, I'm going to keep eating them, but at least I'm doing something local. I'm doing something there. I'm trying to be in the moment culturally.
Yes.
You've got to drink the local beer. And here's the deal, it doesn't have to be beer.
No, it doesn't. They had really good cider.
Yes.
The Bulmer's cider. Oh my gosh. It's really good too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just try something new. And, you can always have what you have when you come back home.
Yeah.
That's just how I feel about it.
If your comfort zone is Budweiser, that's absolutely fine. We're cool with that. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri. I get it. But when you're over there, hey, help out the middleman, guys, and try it. You might just love it.
And while you're having your nice pint of something new, what do you do while you're having a pint?
Well, you also take part in the other cultural things out there, like watching hurling.
I had no idea what this even was, and now we're obsessed. We even bought hurling sticks and a ball.
We got Hurleys.
We got Hurleys.
Yeah, they call them Hurleys too.
I forgot they called them Hurleys.
The Hurleys.
Hurling sticks.
Hurling is like field hockey.
Yeah.
Mixed with rugby.
Yes.
Mixed with more field hockey. You can't really describe it until you see it, and it's the coolest. I am obsessed with this sport now.
You have to balance a little ball on a hurley.
Yeah.
You have to be able to swat it, hit it, pick it up from the ground, carry it. You can't walk so many steps.
Yeah.
Without, you know.
And then you got to smack it or you got to bounce it or something like that. And by the way, the hurley, it looks kind of like a hockey stick made out of wood.
It does.
and there's not a whole lot of flat surfaces on this thing. It's an art to do this. And the people who play this really get into it.
And you got to be really careful because you can get really hurt.
You can get very, very hurt. You're talking about people coming at you with weapons and sticks. I mean, they're coming full charge.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is
no jokeroni.
We went in Waterford, went to a couple of these club league matches, whatever they were, just the local teams going at it. And the fun thing is that we learned we'd go to a hurling match, sit where the locals sit.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I'm always like, I want to be in the front row on the 50-yard line. Go team and all that. And they're like, and I look and all the locals are sitting back up in the stands. You can actually see hurling better and appreciate it better the higher up you are.
Yeah.
So you can see down.
Yeah.
And see the plays. I'm like, I didn't know that.
I had no idea.
But yeah, so you want to see the local stuff, see the local things, eat the local food, drink the local drink. Yeah. You're going to have a good time.
Hurling's quite violent, actually.
We're going to talk more about
it. It's a lot like hockey.
It is. It's hockey, but not on ice, but it's not field hockey either because of the way you have to move move everything around. We're going to talk more about hurling on part 4 of this series because we go to Croke Park in Dublin.
In Dublin. So look forward to that. Nice teaser.
We'll give you all the details on that one. The other teaser we have is that whenever we wrap up this program, we always say, we got this episode. We always look around and go, is there something unusual happening in the world of travel right now? We go, we call it the guacamole.
What the holy guacamole are you talking about?
What do we got right now for guacamole?
Okay, my sweet. You called me an Aztec temple earlier, and here's why. Americans are getting fatter. What? Yes, Americans, I'm talking to you, Pudgy McPudge.
And also post-COVID, I'm sure people are like, well, I put on a few pounds.
COVID weight.
It's called the COVID-15. Yeah. Proper. Like, it is like, I gained 15 pounds this last year, and everybody did. Pets did.
Yeah.
Like, animals did. Like, I'm like, who knew?
Everybody did. Well, this has caught the attention of the FAA from the U.S. government. It turns out that airplanes have to calculate the weight and balance of everyone before liftoff. This is true.
Sure.
So
that's why when big football teams get on.
That's right.
That's like a problem. They ask people to like move to the other side of the plane.
Move around and balance it. Yeah, because you have all sorts of forces there. It turns out the assumptions of what the passengers weigh is kind of outdated because we've gotten fatter. Federal government wants to find out how much fatter we are. And this is really for the smaller planes where they're going to start doing this, so the regional flights.
Yeah.
What they want is they want the airlines to conduct reviews every 3 years, and they want to start, and they haven't done this yet, but it's on the horizon. The guidelines are for random passengers. What they want to do is they want to start weighing people before they board.
Oh my gosh.
Or if they can't do that, they want to ask. So you get your boarding pass at the gate. They want to say, so how much do you weigh?
Right. Like anybody's going to tell the actual truth.
Do that and then add 10 pounds.
What?
Add 10 pounds. Well, add 10 pounds for clothes, because they're going to say, okay, so you weigh 150. Okay. So you're 160.
OMG.
Yeah. So now what they want to do is they want to put up scales.
What?
So you are weighed.
I feel so like.
It gets worse. Ugh. It gets worse. The operator, the person at the gate or whatever, can also just guess your correct weight if they think you're lying.
Oh my gosh.
The passenger must be able to opt out.
Oh my.
But it's like, are you kidding? Are they really going to start doing this? The FAA is definitely kicking this around. Details are still being ironed out, but may go into effect soon. As soon as the government speak for, I don't know when, could be tomorrow, could be in 10 years, but they're looking at how fat Americans have gotten and they still want you to fly safely, which I understand, but are you going to weigh me? And they're like, well, the scale, no one's going to know the weight. It's like, dude, you're going to know the weight. This is weird.
What if they do that though? And then Americans get healthy again.
Yeah.
It's like, then do you take that like
good point.
Intrusiveness away?
I can bounce back.
Said everyone ever that's gained weight.
I could lose my COVID-15. Fine.
Oh my gosh. Like on the one hand, I'm like, I don't care. Everybody, look, it's kind of like what, Big Brother, like everybody knows everything about me anyway, because I have a cell phone or because I travel anyway.
We have a podcast here. Hi.
The government has already inspected everything about all this.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, I could probably just tell them how much I weigh in the name of safety. But on the other hand, I'm like a girl and I don't like to talk about it because I struggle with it anyway.
But my weight, that's one of those things you never ask someone is, hey.
I know, or their age.
Hey, Bob, how much do you weigh?
Can't you just tell on your license?
Were you honest on your license?
No.
Okay, well, you big fibber. Who do you think you are, Leonardo DiCaprio? You big liar.
I'm like, let's take that down a notch.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's okay. I'm also 2 inches taller on my license than in real life. We should meet sometime. That being said, are we about done with this episode of Voca Vacay,
I
dear?
guess so. I just am so I'm torn again about this topic because I don't even know if someone guessed my weight. Like if you stick your chin out and you sort of like hold your face and they can't see past the counter down.
Yeah.
They might think I weigh like, normal. So, I mean, they could probably guess wrong. And then in the name of safety, I mean, it could still be all messed up. I don't know. It makes me nervous. You know how I feel about flying.
I go in, I reek of fish and chips. They're like, just add 20 pounds. They understand. Hey, we've got to wrap it up.
Yeah,
though.
we do.
That's just something we wanted you to think about, but
Yeah.
also think about Ireland. And hey, coming up, our next episode is going to be part 4 of our 4-part series on the Emerald Isle.
So excited.
It's going to be called Lovely Doubly.
Yes.
It's all about Dublin and how much we love Dublin. And Dublin, as far as big cities go, it's a keeper.
Dublin.
So we're gonna have that for you pretty soon.
Yeah.
All right. So hey, thanks for checking out Voca Vacay.
Thanks for joining us
And
today.
remember, keep up with us all the social medias, the Facebooks,
The Book of Faces.
the YouTube,
The Instagrams.
the Twitters,
The tweeters.
the Instagrams, and remember the mothership is vocavacay.com. You can always check out all of our past episodes and all of our stuff there. And so, hey, that's Maria over there.
That's Frank.
And we will see you in a fortnight.
Yeah, and remember to live vicariously through yourself.
And
Vacation like it's your job.
absolutely, get out there and have some fun. So we'll see you next time on Voca Vacay. Love ya, miss ya, mean it. Bye.
Don't forget to click subscribe. As always, hashtag Voca Vacay at Voca Vacay and visit VocaVacay.com.